Olo.
Hey, Alfred. It's Van.
Okay. I ain't here.
Yeah, I know. I need your help.
All right.
I smoked last night.
Smoke what?
Weed. That thing you sell.
Hey, girl, I don't sell shit. You better get off my phone talking that mess.
How do you pass a drug test?
You smoke.
Yes.
Alfred, I am allowed to smoke.
But weed is for people who aren't going anywhere, though. It's like for losers.
Paper Boi's here.
What's
Thanks so much for coming here,
Oh,
man.
man, this is the best.
Congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
are on one of the best shows of the year.
Oh, thanks. I'm very happy to hear that. That's great.
I don't even think it's opinion at this point. I think it's objectively considered that way.
I think that I'm going to get that tattooed on my neck. That's the best. That's
Atlanta, objectively
right
considered the best show of the year,
Just
set
like
on
all the way
AOL
there.
Build. All the way.
yeah.
So how did you get on the show? Was Donald Glover aware of you beforehand, or did you audition like a sort of normal?
I
regular
opened a
thing?
Venmo account, and then I put every piece of money I had into Donald's account to make him put me on the show. I was like, please, just let me be on. No, I auditioned. My manager sent me the script called Atlanta. As soon as I saw the title, I was like, oh, bet, this is great. Because I went to college in Atlanta, and all my great friends are still there, and that was just where I grew up, kind of, from 18 to 22. So I opened the page, and I just saw Alfred, and I was like, yeah, like, I know this guy. Like, I love this guy. And went in, and got called to test, and Donald was there. Like, Donald was waiting. He wanted to test with me, so went in, and it was just, we just played around. It was like I'd known him my whole life. He really felt like my family, and we just went on from there.
What did you think about Alfred when you first read him?
That he's petty as hell. He's one of the pettiest people I've ever read in my life, and I was like, I got to do this. I just have to do this. I felt like Alfred reflected a lot of the people that I know in my life, my family, my friends. I feel like everybody has a paper boy in their life, you know, and I just really wanted to reflect that with him. He has a huge heart, you know, and he loves his family, and he protects his own, but if you kind of cross him, it's kind of done. And I love that. I just love that there's this fire and ice in him that it just makes him just this two-sided person that we all kind of are in life. You know, he gives me an opportunity to do the things that I, Brian, can't normally do. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't get out of my car after somebody kicked off my window. You know, I'd be on the phone like AAA, somebody kicked my window off. But with Alfred, I can just go and just confront people.
To have a bit of that sort of catharsis, masculine,
With
kind of like,
it, you know? So I love that. I love that about him.
And that's kind of what's so great about the whole show. It offers different sides to all of these characters
Yeah.
who you, and I think maybe this was Donald Glover's, one of his intentions. It offers layers to characters you may have only seen one dimension of on previous TV shows or movies.
Or if you saw them at all. You know, I really am happy with FX and what they're doing because it's been such a long time that I've seen anything like this, you know. I'm constantly tripping looking at this poster of three dudes with peaches in their mouth. I'm like, they're all black, and they're there, and they're up front, and here we are. Like, I think that's fantastic. And this diversity that's happening now couldn't have happened at a better time. It could have happened a long time ago, but I'm so glad that it's happening now and that we're a part of it because these stories are necessary. And I feel like people need to know that, you know, your stories are going to be reflected and that we got you, you know what I mean? So I'm very happy with, you know, FX really giving us the shot. Diane McGonigal, Paul Sims for just really believing in Donald's vision and for Donald having me be a part of it.
And that must be something I bet for you that feels completely different as well. You've been acting for a little while now. You've probably gone out and auditioned for a lot of different things. Have you ever auditioned for something like this that was like a Paperboy character that was multidimensional rather than just sort of like the one dimension of the Paperboy character?
Well, I wanted to be Luke Cage, but, you know, that got taken. You know, it's tricky, this business sometimes, because we aren't really telling our stories as much as we'd like to. You know, it's not really usually black people writing black stories like that. So I'm really glad that Atlanta has created this lane that it's all black writers and it's like people who are all about the same age. And, you know, we're just telling these stories that really are our stories. And I love that. So going in for this was a breath of fresh air because I was like, yeah. Oh, and you're going to call it Atlanta? Perfect. Like, you know, that's great to me. So
It's also a subtle and funny show as
Yeah.
well. Like it never in any way comes off as like, I mean, as much as it is black stories and it's a black cast, it never feels like this is a black.
Well, that's the
show,
thing.
you know?
That's what we want. You know what I mean? Because our stories are everyone's stories. You know, and we really wanted to show the world that it's possible to do that. It's possible to make a show that will show that it's not just black or white. It's all of our stories, but at the same time, it is undeniably black. Like it is really centered around our stories in Atlanta. And I think it's great and way overdue that we have a show that kind of shows people, hey, actually, I feel that. I was really afraid that we were going to single out certain demographics and people wouldn't feel like they could watch the show because it's called Atlanta and because there are 3 black men with peaches in their mouths. And I'm glad that that's not how it's going. I'm glad that everyone is actually like, wait a minute, I saw this in this show. I saw that. I think that that's the thing we want to do with the show is actually turn the show back on you, the viewer, so you could be like, wait a minute. Especially this week's episode. I mean, I hope I'm not giving anything away, but I felt like this week's episode that's centered around Van, I felt like every female of any color could sit there and be like, oh, yeah, I know that. Like, oh, okay, I feel that. But especially women of color, because it's like, yeah, your stories are just, if not more important to be told, and that these are some of the things that happen in our day-to-day lives. We all have to make these choices, and what happens when we just, veer left sometimes. So.
And people are watching the show too, right? It was the highest rated cable premiere in years. Yeah,
Really?
The premiere of the show was one of the highest
Fantastic.
rated. That's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you guys for that. Yeah.
So, what was that like for you? Because, I feel like you probably teamed up with Donald. You guys went down and started shooting the show, and you probably had insecurities about whether or not people were going to watch it. Like, even though you were saying just now, it felt kind of insular.
It was the most important thing for us was to have fun. I said every day during doing the show that I wasn't going to work. I was going to go play with my friends, and that's really what it was. I mean, we're idiots. Like we're just like it's and it was great. And you just read these stories by Donald and his writing staff. His brother Steven writes episodes, and and you couldn't help but just want to go and just have fun. I just remember having to shoot the scene with this little actor named Bankroll PJ, who plays a little kid that's in the back seat. And this kid is one of the most amazing kids in the world. Like, I did not know that kids like this existed. He said what was on his mind, and he's only 5. But I was like, he is so, Atlanta is ridiculous. And I love that about the show is that it's a lot of local hires. Like, it's a lot, that's mostly Atlanta talent in there.
Is this the kid in the backseat in the episode where you're sort of going after the guy that's ripping you
with
off?
With the long beep that goes, yeah, like that. He was amazing. And I like that Atlanta's doing that. I like that we're showcasing Atlanta this way, like, because Atlanta is a different universe in some ways, but it's also the hub of, like, just some of the greatest things that have ever happened, from music to fashion to food and it's still evolving. It still isn't done, and it's in the South, which is amazing to me. And
yeah, we mostly use it to shoot The Walking Dead.
Yeah, or like a rom-com, like that's Atlanta.
Yeah, a rom-com and a cul-de-sac that's just sort of nondescript.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's Atlanta. But I mean, I love that we used every corner of Atlanta and used a lot of local talent. And
is it becoming kind of a thing in Atlanta? Did you notice
totally
like halfway
is.
through shooting?
When I was in college there, from 2000 to 2004, that was like the music. That's when the Atlanta music scene was like lit. It was up. Like Ludacris was around, and Lil Jon had come around, and you had all this music that was becoming mainstream. This sound is becoming mainstream. Outkast becoming mainstream. Like what the Love Below and Speakerbox did. I was like, I never in a million years thought that Target would be selling this to the masses like that, and it did. And then for a little while, the music scene kind of shifted, and then it became TV and film. And I'm like, wow, Atlanta is just not gonna stop. I'm like, what's gonna be next? Like, what is the next thing that Atlanta's about to blow up with? And it's insane how it's so malleable down there.
Art of some kind, maybe?
Maybe something like Atlanta, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so it's that town, all respect to that town, I love it.
And the cast is incredible. You have Donald, you have Keith Stanfield, who is unbelievable, incredible talent.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, I come from a family of nothing but women. So I'm the baby of 4 older sisters, and I always wanted a brother. Like, I just was like, I really just want a brother. There's just something about the male friendship that's amazing because it's so, it's just so, I don't know, like, and because I was around my sisters all the time, I didn't really have any male figures around to, I mean, I lived with my father for a bit, and shout out to Dad, love you very much. But I always wanted to know what that relationship with brothers was like. And so I find myself collecting a lot of brothers in my life. Like, I still have friends to this day that they're literally my brothers. My homeboy Sterling K. Brown is one of my brothers. I've known him for years.
Sterling K. Brown, the actor?
Yes.
This is us.
The Emmy winner, Sterling K. Brown. Yes. It's my close friend. And,
How do you know him?
We met acting, actually. We did the Sundance Institute back in 2007, and he was the first person to shave my beard off. I hadn't shaved my beard in like 10 years, and I had to do this show where I was playing a drag queen, and I was like, I need you to shave my face. And he shaved my face, and we've been best friends ever since that. The thing about this show that I like to explore is just that relationship between these black men and what it's like to be in this city at this time and in this climate that we're in, but also what it's like for us to try to make it, not just individually, but together, because it's tough, it's hard, and there's a lot of oppositions that are put up against us, a lot of walls that are put up against us, and we just want to show what it's like to get through that. Also, the humor in it, like there is humor in some of the things that are going on right now where you're just like, are you kidding me? Like, is that really, like, seriously? So we really wanted to showcase that. So the relationship between brothers is something that I've just always really just wanted to understand.
There's humor in the hardships at times
Yeah.
in the show.
You
as
have
well,
to
which
find
is
it,
great.
you know? You have to find it, because if we don't laugh at some things, like, I don't know, like, I may be an arsonist. Don't put that, like, but it's something. There's something about those familial and familiar bonds that we share, especially in Atlanta and between brothers.
What is Paper Boi's deal? Why can't he keep himself out of trouble?
I think the bigger question is why is everybody testing me? And like, why is everyone testing me? Like, I didn't ask to get in a fight with Bieber. I didn't ask for that.
Right.
I didn't ask for this fame. All I did was do a single that I thought was cool. That I was like, I want to be a part of this scene, trap rap, I can do that. But I just want to survive. And then you have Earn come around and was like, actually, I think we can do something else. It's something to be said about when somebody believes in you, I mean, that's partially like how I became an actor to begin with, because people just believe that this is something I should be doing.
Who was the first person that believed you should be an actor?
Oh, there's so many. Well, don't make fun of me. In high school, I was a big geek, and I was really into the arts very much, and I joined show choir. We had I went to an all-black high school, and we had this show choir called Smith 16, and we were the bomb. Like, we were everything. And my chorus teacher, Sharon McNair, I basically lived with her. Like, she was like, you should do this. You should do this. You should continue to see, find yourself through music and through acting. Then I went to college and met my mentor, Kent Gash, who teaches at NYU, actually. And he was like, you should audition for Yale School of Drama. Acting is what you should do. And then I get to Yale, and then I have it's just all been people who really believe that this is what I was supposed to do. And I will never not do this to my fullest ability, because this is for them.
Did you have family who like understood the arts or understood
my family, like, I was the kid, by the time I was born, my family was already, they were adults. My sisters were already starting families of their own, and my mother was a huge component of me really going forward with acting. And I just like to imitate them. I would just run around imitating these people because I didn't want to go to therapy. I was like, if I don't do this, then we all gonna have a bill that's gonna be really high. So I would just imitate them. And now my sisters are, they're the most supportive women ever. I love them very much. They hold me down more than anything in the world. And they definitely had a hand in me getting into acting as well.
One of your first big roles was in the original production of Book of Mormon, right?
Book of Mormon, yeah.
How did
Thank you.
where were you at in your life at that point, and how did you land the role?
I was living in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. Do not ask. I was eating peanut butter.
I know Sheepshead Bay.
I was crying a lot because I was like, I really need food. I was just at this place of just like, being an actor in New York, it humbles you. You know, you really have to want this. You really have to want to do this to really. But I was still happy though. That was the thing. I was incredibly happy because I was doing what I loved. Like I lived in Sheepshead. I could see the Wonder Wheel from my window, and I had to come and where I was at the Public Theater at the time, and I had to go from Sheepshead Bay to the Public Theaters 6 days a week, and I was just like, thank God I'm in my 20s, because if I had to do this when I was in my 30s, we'd have a problem. But it just was, I was just so happy and just like, yeah, I'm going to the Public Theater, I'm going to do this show, and it's gonna be great. Like, I had to get food stamps at one point. I had to really barter to get on the subway sometimes, but at the end of the day, my community of friends, who we are all going through this together at the same time, we held each other down because what we were doing was more important. Like, going to the public to do this show was way more important than me wondering if this can of tuna is gonna last for a week. You know what I mean? It was just something that was innate. You just got up and you did it because you had that fire and that passion to do it. And I will never go back to Sheepshead Bay again after that. I didn't even know that the trains go through Avenue A through Avenue Z. And there's no Avenue Q. I was like, well, wait a minute. This. I mean, I would pass all of them, like, and I lived past those. So at that point, I was like, I have to do this. For all those people who they really believed in me and really, I mean, this show is just like a badge of honor for me because Atlanta is where I discovered where I really wanted to be an actor, and here I am back in Atlanta doing this show. So it's kind of just a grace. I have to take it all in a graceful way because it's so unremarkable. It's remarkable. I just can't believe it, you know?
Yeah. I have to ask, what was the show like? What was Book of Mormon like for you when you first started? What was it like with those guys?
I am the hugest South Park fan. I remember when it came on, I was like in the 8th grade, Wednesdays, 10 p.m., and I would watch it every week. I would study Cartman. I would study him because I was like, I have to say these lines to somebody because somebody deserves to be talked to like this, and I have to learn it. And they were just saying things that I couldn't believe they were getting away with the stuff they were saying. It was so necessary. And through the mouths of these 4 babes, you know, these 4 kids, you know. So when I got to meet Trey and Matt, I was like, okay, bucket list, check, done. When I got to meet Bobby Lopez, bucket list, check, great. And the cast was amazing because we were all creating this thing that we know Broadway has never seen before. We know that the things that I'm about to say when I go out here, and I will never forget when I had to go to a costume fitting and they were like, so yeah, we got your stilts for Satan. You're ready for your Satan fitting? I was like, this is great. I was like, I'm never deleting this voicemail. Like, yeah, I just got to go in and I got to fit it for Satan. It's all good. And to just watch the audience, to watch these people who had no idea what they were coming in to see, but also the message of the show. I mean, the message is still, it's still just so strong to this day. And it's fun. It was fun. It was hard for me because I had never done a musical before. I had never done a Broadway musical before. And it's hard. Like, Broadway is hard. Like, big ups to every person that's on Broadway that is doing it because it is hard. And
just the time commitment? And
not even
the
just
daily...
that. It's just really hard. I mean, not knowing if the show is going to stay open or not knowing, you know, people come in and people go, and, you know, and the audiences change, and this, and that, and especially in the traditional Broadway audience, you know, they're not really people who are ready. I mean, I know I'm not going to say my name in the show, but, you know, they're not ready to see someone get shot in the face sometimes, you know. But Trey and Matt knew that it was necessary to create a show like this, and what better way to get the message through to people than a musical, you know what I mean? So it was great, and all those people, great. Andrew Reynolds, Nikki James, Josh Gad, Michael Potts, every single person that was a part of that show, I'm still friends with them to this day, and they're all great. They're great. It was a great experience.
And you're on another show right now that I also love. It's called Vice Principals, or you had an episode or two, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the first season.
Dacious Brown, yeah.
The sort of degenerate ex-husband of
who just wants to see his kids, man. He just wants his kids, man.
Is that all he wants?
That's all he wanted, and Belinda too. That show was great because Kimberly A. Gregory, who plays Belinda Brown in that show, she and I have known each other for years as well. Me, her, and Sterling did a play at the Public years ago called the Brother-Sister Trilogies, written by Terrell Evan McCraney. He was great playwright. And she's amazing. Like, she's amazing, and I'm so happy that this opportunity happened for her because she's one of the funniest, one of the brightest spirits I've ever seen in my life, and she killed that role.
Yeah.
And I just remember getting the audition for that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta book this. I have to play her husband. Like, I have to play her husband. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I have
Did she
to.
have a hand in it at all?
I don't know. If you did, Kimberly, thanks. I love you. Like, Christmas gift is gonna be fat.
Are we going to be seeing you more in the upcoming episodes? 'Cause I know they shot all of them at once.
Yeah, and they have a second season, and I'm at the beginning of the second season, but I can't really reveal what happens to the Browns. So
Well, that's good to know.
yeah, a
you'll
lot
be
of
back.
running in that show I had to do. But yeah, and Danny McBride and Walton Goggins, man, they're just beasts. Jody Hill, beasts. Their brains are unbelievable. So
What is going to... I know you can't tell us exactly, but what's going to happen to Paper Boi? Is he going to learn some lessons? Does he learn lessons? Does he take
that's
it
the
in?
question. Does Paper Boi learn lessons?
Because it's-
like, does he even?
What's so wonderful, I feel like the show frames lessons around him, and he's kind of like this blank canvas that the audience can sort of meditate on.
Paper Boi, bless his heart. I don't know. I think that I don't want to give much away, but just know that Fame and Paper Boi are gonna go a certain way, and that he's still gonna have to find a way to live in this town in these situations, and I think just really just to discover deeper what earn means to him and how much he means to earn. But you never know. Who knows? I mean, he may blow up. He may get a tour. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I think he'll evolve a bit. Like, I think Paper Boi is. I mean, there's so many layers to him. You know what I mean? And we'll see. I don't know.
Let's open up to the audience for questions. Who has some questions out here?
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man?
So I wanted to know if you could pick your own storyline, where would Paper Boi go? And also, what's your favorite episode thus far? If you even watch it or like to shoot, because the
Okay.
basketball one's really funny. Basketball.
Which, just so y'all know, I don't know how to play basketball, so I'm glad that came out that way because I was terrified. I kind of want Paper Boi to be international. I want Paper Boi to like just really start smelling himself and getting like, he start booking tour dates and he's going up against Young Jeezy and like just trying to like punk down Drake and take over Canada. So I don't know. Like I would love that. My favorite episode so far, man, that's hard. This week's episode definitely because the Z Beats. I mean, she crushes this episode, and that was the first episode Donald directed, and he's great to work with behind the camera too. I think one of the ones that I love well, there's an episode that hasn't come out yet where we go to a club,
That's a great episode. I
so
caught
you
that
know.
one. Yeah.
and Paper Boi don't like the club. That's all you just know that he don't like the club, and I gotta go to the club. Episode 2 is really love that one too because the opening scene that we did in the jail between Ern and I was like, I think you finally get to see what our relationship is like, and really get to see what that bond is, and also here we are having this conversation in his jail, for something that I did, you know what I mean, or didn't do. And I just really, really love the connection between that. I also love, it's hard, because episode 3, I love me and Keith cleaning guns, talking about, I'm like, are we having this philosophical conversation where we're cleaning? Nah, okay, that's fine. I don't call my gun daddy, that's stupid. So, all of them are pretty, they stand alone in their own way. And but episode 6, and the club episode 2 are like my favorites.
I loved episode 2 with Ern in the sort of holding precinct. For
man.
anyone who's ever spent like a day in a holding precinct, like that was like exactly what it's like.
You know what's really funny is that scene at the beginning of 2 where we're having this philosophical conversation, it was my birthday.
Really?
And I was really looking forward to filming this scene. I was like, cannot wait, this is the Paper Boi and Ern to the nth degree. And right after we finished it, they had cakes waiting for me. Donald bought me like all these cakes because he didn't know what flavor I liked. I was like, this is the best day of my life. This is so great. We're still filming in the jail though, but it's cool. So yeah, I love
So
Donald.
that might be your favorite episode,
Yeah,
I think.
so.
The best
It
day.
has a lot of memories.
Next question.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
What do you want the audience to take away from watching this show?
Ooh, I gotta hold the mic like this on that one.
Think on it.
I think. You know what? I can't say what you should take away from it. The fact that you're watching, and the fact that you're sitting here in front of me asking that question means that you took something from it anyway. And that means that you guys are invested. It means that I really just want you all to know that, I want you to feel like you're reflected. I want you to feel like your stories are reflected, or things that you didn't even know needed to be talked about or being talked about. So, and also to laugh, to really laugh and really feel like, hey, wait a minute, we just said that yesterday. Hey, I felt that yesterday. Didn't we just talk about that? So that's really what I want. And that's a great question, by the way. Are you in college? Are you majoring in something because keep going with that. That's amazing.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hey, is someone on set just rolling blunts? Where'd all these blunts come from?
That is none of your business. No.
Let me rephrase that. What is your fake weed made of?
Can I tell you something? When I got the part, I remember someone from production calling me, and she was so timid and so nervous, and it was a white girl. I could tell it was a white girl. No, I'm not hating. And she was like, "So yeah, I can't wait for you to get here. Just a question. Do you know how to roll blunts?" And I was like, first of all, is this entrapment? Because I was like, wait. Are you serious? Yeah. I was like, do I have a preference of blunt rolls, though? Can I get White Owls? That'd be great. So the blunts are made by our prop department, and I don't know what flower is in there. I just know that I smoke them all the time. Paper Boi is constantly, I was like, there are two things that I tend to have in every scene, and that's a gun and a blunt. What the hell? Paper Boi? But the props, big ups to props, because I had to smoke tons of blunts. Also in the show.
Brian, what night is Atlanta on? What night can people tune into Atlanta for the last few episodes of the season?
Oh, say that again, I'm sorry.
What night can people tune into Atlanta?
Oh, Tuesdays at 10 on FX.
And if you're not tuning in, you should be. It's one of the best shows on
And you can get the
so
FX
good.
Now app and do that, or you can get the season pass on iTunes. Holla.
There it is. Brian, thank you so much. Congratulations. Thanks, man.